Monday morning, 9:47 a.m. You just sent the final report. 3 months of work, nights, weekends. Solved a problem that was costing the company $400,000 annually. You hit send. And you wait for the reply, the acknowledgement, the thank you. Tuesday passes. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday afternoon, 4:53 p.m. Email arrives. Subject, team update. You open it. Generic message to the entire department. Great quarter, everyone. Keep up the good work. Your name isn't mentioned. Your project isn't mentioned. The $400,000 you saved disappeared into a spreadsheet somewhere. You close your laptop and you realize you've been waiting for something that was never coming, not because they forgot, because they never intended to give it. I'm 32. I've sat in the meetings where they discuss recognition. I've seen the budget lines. I've heard what leadership actually thinks about gratitude. And here's what nobody tells you. Companies aren't people. They're algorithms optimizing for cost, and recognition is free, which makes it the perfect substitute for what you actually deserve. Let me show you what I saw 3 weeks ago. Leadership meeting. Discussing compensation for Q4. Someone brings up your project. The $400,000 annual savings. VP of Finance asks, "What did we budget for this?" HR responds, "Nothing." It was within their existing scope of work. Silence. Then someone says, "Should we do something? Maybe a bonus?" CFO looks at the spreadsheet. Bonus would set precedent. Others would expect the same. Let's send a recognition email instead. CC senior leadership. That should suffice. Meeting moves on. Total discussion time about your 3 months of work, 90 seconds. Decision. Thank you email. Cost to company, $0. You received that email. You thought it meant something. It didn't. It was the cheapest possible response to your effort, and the fact that it satisfied you meant they never had to pay you. Here's the math nobody shows you. You worked 200 extra hours on that project. Market rate for your skill level, $50 per hour. You donated $10,000 of labor. They purchased your satisfaction with $2 worth of words. That's not recognition. That's arbitrage. They bought your emotional need for validation at a 99.98% discount, and you accepted it because you thought it meant they valued you. They do value you. At $2 of recognition per $10,000 of extra work. That's your exchange rate. I'm 32. I used to wait for recognition too. Year 3 at my first company. Led a project that increased revenue by 18%. Worked through holidays. Documented everything. Made everyone else look good. Annual review comes. Manager says, "You did great work this year. Really appreciate your dedication." No promotion mentioned. No raise above standard 3%. No bonus. Just appreciation. I waited 6 months to bring it up. About that project. The 18% increase. I was hoping we could discuss compensation adjustment. Manager looked confused. We already discussed that. I told you how much I appreciated it. We don't compensate people twice for the same work. That's when I learned. In their mind, the verbal recognition was the compensation. The thank you was the payment. And asking for actual money after receiving the thank you was double dipping. Here's what I've seen in hundreds of performance conversations. Companies have discovered something. Most people will work significantly harder for emotional recognition than their salary technically requires. And emotional recognition costs nothing. So they've built entire systems around it. Recognition programs, Employee of the Month, shout-outs in all-hands meetings, appreciation events, pizza parties. None of it costs real money. All of it triggers the same emotional response as a raise, temporarily. According to a 2024 Harvard Business Review study, Companies that invest heavily in recognition programs pay an average of 12% below market rate. They're not paying you in money. They're paying you in feelings, and feelings don't pay rent. Watch how the system works. You do exceptional work. They have 3 options. Option A, compensate appropriately. Bonus, raise, promotion. Cost, high. $10,000, $50,000 plus. Option B, recognize publicly. Email, meeting mention, award. Cost, 0. Option C, ignore completely. Cost, 0. Risk, you leave. They almost always choose option B because option B gives you just enough emotional satisfaction to keep you working hard, while costing them nothing, and preventing you from realizing you should be demanding option a recognition is free, which makes it infinitely profitable. I sat in a meeting last year. HR presenting their employee engagement strategy. Slide title, Low Cost, High Impact Recognition Programs. Their pitch, research shows that frequent recognition increases productivity by 23% and costs 94% less than compensation increases. Translation, we can make them work 23% harder by saying thank you instead of paying them. The room nodded. Someone asked, what if they start expecting raises instead of recognition? HR response, that's why we normalize recognition as the primary reward. Set the expectation early that exceptional performance earns visibility and appreciation, not necessarily compensation. They're training you to accept words instead of money, and calling it culture. Here's the pattern I've seen destroy people. Year 1, you do great work, get recognition, feel valued. Year 2, you do greater work, get more recognition. Start expecting compensation. Year 3, you do exceptional work, ask for raise. Get told, we already recognized you extensively. You're one of our most appreciated employees. Year 4, you realize appreciation doesn't pay your mortgage. Year 5, you're burned out, underpaid, and wondering why you accepted gratitude as currency. Recognition without compensation is just exploitation with better PR. Stop here. Think about the last time you got recognized at work. Email? Meeting mention? Award? Did you get compensated too? Or did the recognition replace the compensation? If it replaced it, you just saw the system working. Now let me show you what happens next. 2 people, same company, same role, same output quality. Person A, you. Every project, you deliver excellence. Get recognized constantly. Emails from leadership, mentions in meetings. Top performer reputation. Compensation, standard raises. 3% annually. Person B, your colleague. Delivers solid work. Nothing exceptional. Never gets recognized. Never mentioned. But every 18 months, they schedule a meeting with their manager. I have another offer. Need to discuss my compensation. They don't have another offer. But the company doesn't know that. Compensation, 8 to 12% increases every 18 months. Over 5 years, you recognized extensively. 15% total increase. Them. Recognized never. 40% total increase. The person who demanded money has 25% more than the person who accepted gratitude. Recognition is what they give you when they don't want to pay you. Here's what recognition actually signals. We see you working hard. Translation. We're monitoring your output. Your contribution is valued. Translation. We're getting good ROI on your current salary. You're a key team member. Translation. You're producing above your pay grade and we'd like to keep it that way. We really appreciate your dedication. Translation. We've noticed you work beyond your job description for free. Every recognition statement is an economic calculation disguised as emotional validation. They're not thanking you because they're grateful. They're thanking you because gratitude is cheaper than a raise. I watched someone have a breakdown 6 months ago. 10 years at the company. Most Valuable Employee Award 3 times. Constant recognition. Name mentioned in every major meeting. Leadership loved them. Then they got an outside offer. 15% more than current salary. They went to their manager expecting a counter. Brought up the awards, the recognition, the 10 years, the valuable employee status. Manager said, "We've always recognized your contributions extensively. You're already compensated fairly for your role." "We can't match that offer." They left. And the company posted their job at the same salary they were making. Replaced them in 6 weeks with someone who had 0 recognition and 0 expectation of it, all that recognition. 10 years of valuable employee. Didn't translate to a single dollar when it mattered. Because recognition was never about your value. It was about managing your expectations while minimizing costs. Here's what they're actually doing. Behavioral economics has a concept, variable intermittent reinforcement. It's how slot machines work. Unpredictable rewards at unpredictable intervals create the strongest behavioral patterns. Companies use the same principle with recognition. Sometimes you get mentioned. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes the CEO notices. Sometimes nobody does. The unpredictability keeps you working hard, hoping the next project will be the one that gets recognized. The next output will be the one that gets noticed. You're pulling the slot machine lever, hoping for the recognition jackpot. And occasionally, you win. Email from senior leadership, mention in a meeting, you feel valued, so you keep pulling. Except the house always wins. And the house is paying out in fake chips that you can't exchange for anything real. I am 32. Here's what I wish someone had told me at 25. Companies are not your family. Your manager is not your parent. Their approval is not love, and their recognition is not compensation. They're algorithms optimizing for profit. You're a line item in that optimization. If recognizing you costs 0 and keeps you productive, they'll recognize you forever. If compensating you properly cuts into margin, they won't, no matter how many awards you have. No matter how many times they said, "valued employee." Let me show you what emotional recognition actually costs you. You work 250 extra hours per year hoping for recognition. At $50 an hour, $12,500 annual value. You receive recognition emails, meeting mentions, maybe an award. Emotional satisfaction, high. Financial compensation, 0. Meanwhile, someone else works their contracted hours. Receives 0 recognition. Negotiates compensation every 18 months. Adds $8,000 a year to base salary through negotiation. Over 10 years, you, $125,000 donated labor. Received, plaque, emails, top performer reputation. Them, $80,000 additional lifetime earnings. Received, nothing but money. Recognition feels good. Money compounds. Feelings fade. Compound interest doesn't. Here's the mechanism that traps you. You're hardwired for social approval. It's evolutionary. For most of human history, approval from the tribe meant survival. Disapproval meant exile, death. So your brain treats workplace recognition as survival validation. Manager says, "Good job," and your brain releases dopamine. Same neurochemical as actual rewards. Companies know this. They're not stupid. They know your brain can't distinguish between real compensation and social approval. So they give you the thing that costs nothing and produces the same neurochemical response as the thing that costs money. You feel rewarded. They save money. You're being hacked by a system that understands your psychology better than you do. Final truth. Recognition without compensation is a transaction. They're buying your extra effort with words. And as long as you keep accepting that exchange rate, they'll keep offering it. The person who gets compensated isn't working harder. They're demanding payment in money, not feelings. The person who gets recognized is working harder and accepting payment in validation. One of you is building wealth. The other is building a reputation for working cheap. You're not waiting for recognition. You're waiting for something that was never coming, because the recognition was the payment. The thank you was the transaction. You worked for free and they paid you in words. And the moment you accepted that, they knew they never had to pay you anything else. Stop waiting for recognition. Start demanding compensation. Because companies aren't people with gratitude. They're algorithms with budgets. And algorithms don't feel thankful. They calculate cost, and gratitude is free, while your time isn't. But you're the only one pricing it correctly. They already know what you're worth. They're just hoping you'll accept less, wrapped in appreciation.